Hello, my name's Starling Chipanga. I work here at Chengelo Training Farm as production manager. Let me share something about onion growing. So here we normally grow two varieties, which Red Trail and Texas Grano. They are all under the brand name of Stachyris. So with onions, they take a bit longer than the other vegetables we're talking about in the nursery. So the onions will be there around 6 to 8 weeks for them to be ready for transplanting. So these ones here where we are, were transplanted 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And so after 6 to 8 weeks, then you do similar things in terms of land preparation. So where we are, we can see it's quite flat. And the only thing we did was just to clear, because previously there were tomatoes. And it's also important to practice crop rotation. So you grow different types of vegetables on the same piece of land, and that's what they call crop rotation. So just before the onions, we had tomatoes here, and they were also on flat land. So we just cleared the tomatoes out and then partitioned the beds. So this one is from there up somewhere there, the other one just like that. And yeah, so from there we irrigated. Remember, making sure there is moisture just before transplanting. Just make sure there is moisture before transplanting. That is important because that will help the seedling to establish itself as quickly as possible in the new environment. So they are moving from the nursery in terms of trays or seed bed to a permanent bed. So these are called permanent beds. Where you are going to put the onions, please don't manure it. If you make available too much of the nutrients, like saying, then to grow vegetatively, and then you not get the desired shape of the bulb. And this is why onions mostly has to be a follow-up crop, meaning it has to come behind a different crop. So with the onion, it's a bit tricky, and it's tricky because they need certain hours of light. And so on a large scale, without using greenhouses or other things, you can only grow it in bulk once a year. But for the fresh market, what I mean is where you can sell straight as a fresh bulb, yeah, you can grow more than once. But for storage purposes, you grow it once. So here we grow it once in a large operation like this one. Then we also do smaller beds just for the fresh market, straight. You pull straight the bulb and sell it off. Otherwise, storage is an issue. So under commercial purposes, you time your seeding in February. Yeah, that is according to the Zambian environment. Yeah, in February you seed, so that around end of March, April you transplant. I was just saying it stays longer in the nursery. It's about 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. The earliest it will come out is about 6, otherwise 8 weeks. So from there now you prepare the beds. I've talked about that already. You just clear. We don't encourage digging. I'll always repeat that one. You just clear, and then you make the planting lines according to spacing. So this spacing is 30 centimeters between this row and that one and that one and that one and that one. So 30 centimeters. Then in between here in the row, 10 centimeters. From plant to plant, 10 centimeters. The depth is the same, still maintaining 5 centimeters depth of planting. Then thereafter, because they are at 10 centimeters, what we do is I'll uncover the mulch a bit just to show the line. So if you look nicely, there's a depression of some sort. So this is the line where the base was put. So we just drill a continuous line alongside about 5 centimeters, alongside all the way to the end, and then you just calculate the amount of fertilizer that needs to go in this one. So how we calculate that one is, it's not very difficult. So you just have to know how many plants in the line times 5 grams, and then spread across that same amount all the way. So after that, then you mulch, and here is a very good example. So you mulch, you just press a layer of grass in this case, and that will help you a lot, to go a long way, because one, to keep your moisture. So when I uncovered here, if you're able to see, there's a lot of moisture down here, so it will stay longer, and that reduces the demand for irrigation, or the frequency of irrigation, how often you are going to irrigate. That is very important. Then apart from that, to keep the weed population low, so you can see, I can see one here, you can see, and it's very easy for me to manage the weeds. So that is another major advantage of it. Then on top of that, at the end of the day, this will decompose and to actually be part of the soil sooner or late, and that builds up your soil structure. I'll emphasize that one again. It also reduces clustering of the soil, or compaction, because the sun is not going directly there, and there isn't that much fluctuations in terms of moisture. It's wet, it's dry, it's wet, it's dry. So that encourages compaction. Now with the mulch, that is taken care of. The other aspect I talked about when we're dealing with tomatoes is the disease aspect of things. So because there is no splashback, especially if you are going to use sprinklers, usually we use sprinklers here in the dry season, because we are growing this out of the rain season. So we use sprinkler irrigation, which is similar to rain. So if we don't mulch, then there are high chances of diseases because of the splashback, the water coming from the ground, hammering the leaves. So those are the most important things. And then for the crop to fully mature, it will take about 5 to 7 months, depending on the variety. And this is why we are only growing on a commercial basis only one time, because after harvesting, then we have to dry it before the rain season, and then store it in a safe place. And that allows you to sell the onions, or to have them nearly the whole year round. So you can dry them and then keep them in a dry place. Fertilizing. So onion is a light feeder. It doesn't harm a lot of fertilizer, or it doesn't take a lot of fertilizer. So you just do a basil. Then sometime later, though despite the long growth period of 5 to 7 months, you only need one top dressing. If the soils are good, you don't even need, because again, if you put a lot of fertilizer in the onions, you are going to see vegetative growth. So these leaves will be very big and they will look very good, but the bulb, you're not going to get it. Or if you get it, to be of a fan shape, to kind of grow everything like leek, if you've seen leek onion. So to discourage that, you only put the basil and then observe it or communicate with the plant. So when you see it is lacking, that's when you just go in with a light application of top dressing. That's the way it happens here. And that gives us a chance to have nicely shaped bulbs of onion.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode and learned one way that you can bring life back to your soils. Feel free to leave a comment below or visit us at our website, foundationszambia.org.